Who's ready for more of that? Because I know I am, baby. Hey, Cowboys and Cold Ones. It's Corey Clark with you on this, what is it, June 9th, 6/9. It's going to be a nice show for you. Cowboys and Cold Ones. Remember, grab your Cold One, like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube page down below. It really means a lot to you guys. We got a fun show for you today. But first, man, it is hot here. I'm from Indiana, just to let you guys know. And I know, Corey, how can you complain? We Cowboy fans, most of us are in Texas. And I get it. But, man, it's really hot out here today in Indiana. I mean, I got my AC cranked. I'm still sweating. Probably wasn't the best idea to wear this jersey. You guys can tell what it is, right? It's that guy who on the video we just saw, C.D. Lamb, the next 88. And, man, I woke up today and I just thought to myself, for some reason, I turned on my phone and I saw my background and that's C.D. Lamb. Probably should be my kid, but don't tell her that. And I saw it and I go, man, I cannot wait for Dak Prescott to have a full season with this crop of receivers and Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and C.D. Lamb, your boy, because he is going to be rocking it out of this world. Anyway, remember, it's Cowboys and Cold Ones. Follow me on Twitter at Corey Clark Radio. Let me know what you're drinking in the comments below. Remember with this, I try and I bring out different drinks. This is the fourth show, so we're rolling, we're grooving. I've had Michelob Ultra, one of my favorites. I went from that to wine because it was a force of habit. I had an old style based out of Chicago, and now since I told you guys where I'm from, there was a reason for that because I'm going to try an IPA today. I'm not the biggest IPA guy. I've never tried these in my life, but one of my buddies goes, if you want one, go to your store and go get from the Sun King Brewery. The Sun King Brewery, okay? If you look at it from that standpoint, the Sun King Brewery, and this is Orange Vanilla Sunlight Cream Ale. And I have no idea what it tastes like, what it is. All I know is it's brewed and canned in Indianapolis, Indiana, within the USA. 355 milliliters. Let's see. Orange Vanilla Sunlight Cream Ale combines smooth malt character with the flavor of vanilla and orange, all with a crisp, clean finish. So that's what we're going to try today. We're going to be drinking Sun King Brewery Orange Vanilla Sunlight Cream Ale. So as we always do, wow, there you go. And let the foam fizzle down. That's a lot of foam. You can smell that already, man. Wow. Okay, ready? Ooh. It's nice and clean, too. And my Cowboys glass, as always. Again, let me know what you're drinking in the comments below on Twitter, at Corey Clark Radio. On our YouTube page, we have to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's go ahead and try this out. Before I do that, cheers. Wow, that's actually really rich. And that's very good. So if it was gross, I tell you, you'd see my face and probably do one of, that was good, guys. That was really good. But that's not what I'm going to do because that actually is really good. And in hoping I liked it, I actually grabbed 2 cans. This is not an ad, but it could be, Sun King. Reach out to me. All right, before we get started, I'll tell you about what the show is today. I actually found this deck of 2011 Dallas Cowboys cards unopened. I know it's probably a sin to open them, but I went ahead and did it. They're nice and clean, no wrinkles, nothing on it. I mean, the first guy on there you see is the left tackle. We're all excited to have our rookie, Tyron Smith. Man, how far we've come. We'll grab a random card out of here, blah, blah, blah. We'll see what we can get. Just for fun, we'll just see who we can land on. And we're going to land on Jay Ratliff, big 9-0. We need a defensive tackle like Jay Ratliff, guys. On his card, he was number 90, 6'4", 302 pounds, born 2 days after my birthday, August 29th of 1981. Let's see. He had 4 sacks at 06, 3 and 7 7.5 in 08, 6 in 09, to 3.5 in 2010. Leading up to 2011 season before it started, he had 4 forced fumbles combined, 12 pass defended as a DT. So he got up there like J.J. Watt would, 25 total sacks, and he had 174 tackles. Can you guess what round he was drafted in and where from? Give me 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drafted in the 7th round out of Auburn. That is where he came from, a good old Auburn Tiger. So we'll do that every week. Just grab a random card out of that deck. I used to collect cards. I'm surprised I even found those after moving to my place recently. Cheers. That's good. Anyway, today's show, man, we got a good one for you. We're going to tell you why, because this was a big talk over the weekend and week, because number 13 himself, Michael Gallup, actually jumped on the Good Morning Football of NFL Network over, I can't remember what day, but he had some good comments saying basically the rundown of it is toe dap swag or whatever else it was, but also he wants to be in Dallas. He loves the community. He loves his teammates. He loves the coaching staff. He said he loves the owners. So, I mean, he wants to play for the Cowboys. I mean, honestly, a lot of people do. He's playing for him now, and everybody's thinking this is going to be his last year no matter what. There's even talks about, hey, maybe we should trade Michael Gallup during draft season to the Patriots for Stephon Gilmore and their pick or something else. I can tell you right now that I have not thought that way once. I've always thought there was a way the Cowboys can keep Michael Gallup. It comes at a price, Thanos. Or, Thanos' thing. What did it cost? Was it worth it? Or what was it saying, guys? What? I got to look that up now. I love the Avengers. And I can't remember. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it said, what did it cost? Everything. So what would it cost? Everything to keep Michael Gallup, and that's okay because he'll get a good contract. I mean, he was having a great year last year, the year before that, and he's only getting better of Gallup. I mean, today in the OTA session or mini camp or whatever they're doing now, they talked about how the Cowboys were. He made an impressive play in the end zone with Dak Prescott, but it comes at a price. So let me run this down for you. How do we keep Michael Gallup beyond 2021? Let's see. For some reason, I didn't have this ready for you guys. All right, we're good. How to keep Gallup post 2021? Okay, so, I mean, it's simple and kind of. I mean, I think it's simple. He plays this season out 2021 on a contract year. If he has a great year, then I mean, he would have to have an awful year for me personally not to want to keep Michael Gallup, okay? What he has to do, now listen here, there's a couple steps because like complicated, right? He needs to sign a 1-year deal. Say it's like 1 year, 10 mil, 1 year, 9 mil after this season heading into the 2022 season, okay? He signs a 1-year deal. And then you have that Dallas Cowboys trio, CeeDee Lamb going into his 3rd year. You have Michael Gallup now heading into his 5th year. You have Amari Cooper, who's that seasoned vet, one of the best route runners in the NFL. You have them together again still. So you have that trio for last year. You have them this year with Dak and the next year with Dak, as long as, knock on wood, everyone stays healthy. So sign Gallup in the offseason, not a year from now, but I don't know, March or April, whenever you have to do it. Sign him to a 1-year deal for $8 to $10 million. Okay, boom. Then this is where things get, I might lose you guys. Okay. In order to keep Michael Gallup, you're not going to be able to keep that trio together forever. Okay. This is what Amari Cooper's contract is. He signed a 5-year, $100 million deal, a signing bonus of $10 million, average salary of around $20. He guaranteed his signing at $40 million. Total guaranteed in total was $60 million. He is a free agent scheduled in 2025. Okay. Heading into 2023, you need to either A, release Amari Cooper, or B, trade Amari Cooper. There's no C, keeping Amari Cooper at the money he's making. So we can get into that here in just a second. But if you look around this area, okay, see, this is where it's 2023. His base salary is 20 mil. His signing bonus is 2. His cap hit would be 22 million if he's on the roster. His dead cap is 4 million, blah, blah, blah. You see all the pre-6-1 releases, pre-6-1 trades, post-trade, post-release 6-1. The one I'm more intrigued of, and now they could do this because they're in good spirits. That wouldn't shock me. But look, your dead cap in 2023 by itself is 4 million total. Okay, your dead cap, if you were to do it post 6-1, would be 4 million total between 2023 and 2024. Over here, your 2023 dead cap is with your 2024 dead cap combined is 4 mil. So it all ends up being a dead cap hit of $4 million. Okay. I'm more in the area of, yes, you save 20 million here in 2023 with the post 6-1, pre 6-1, which could happen. But maybe they respect Amari Cooper enough. They want him to be able to have a free agency again because he would be 29 heading in to that 2023 season. Probably the last time for a semi-decent, bigger contract. Or you look at it from a standpoint of, hey, we're going to wait till June 1st and we're going to trade you, but you can facilitate your own trade. Okay? Now, by doing that, the Cowboys saved 2023, 2024, $2 million in dead cap. That's all it costs, and $2 million in dead cap with them separated. And you save a total heading into the 2023 season of $20 million. But maybe you need that $18 million for Dak contract down the road. Maybe there's someone you want to re-sign. Michael Gallup. That's where we get into it. So regardless of what they decide to do here in 2023, heading into the season, you're either releasing or trading Amari Cooper pre or post June 1st. Okay? He'll be 29 heading into 2023. I love Amari. I do. I am one of the biggest advocates for keeping Amari. People wanted to get rid of him this year because if you see right here, the potential out in the year of 2022 was a 2-year, $40 million with $6 million in dead cap. I don't want to get rid of him yet. Why would I want to? The offense is finally healthy again. It's young with a little bit of age on the offensive line. Why would I want to do that? So I'd rather wait till 2023 where Michael Gallup has to sign a 1-year deal after this year with the Cowboys. Then Amari Cooper plays another year with the trio. And then following the 2022 season, heading into 2023 during that summer, you have to either release him before or prior. And boom, you sign Michael Gallup to a long-term contract. Your wide receiver 1, your wide receiver 2, your wide receiver 1A, 1B is Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb for the next few years or however long they do it. CeeDee Lamb, hopefully a Cowboy for life. Michael Gallup with this deal could be a Cowboy for life. So you have those two set equally for an all time. And then afterwards, if Amari's gone at that time, Micah Parsons would be the best chess player on the team. If you haven't seen it yet, Cooper whooped Micah Parsons after Micah called out Amari to play chess against him. There is also an option C that I don't know the financials behind it all, but you could, heading into that 2023 year, or even after this year, I guess, you could restructure Amari's deal to where it's more backloaded that final year and figure it out then. He'll be 30 going into 2024. Then you can sign Michael Gallup. But I think the most probably easiest way to go about it is thanking Amari for his time, having him play this season, next season, then going into next year, you cut, release him, or let him find his own trade. You get a third-round pick out of it or something along those lines. A second-round pick. I mean, that's what DeAndre Hopkins went for. That's what Julio Jones went for at post his age. So you can get more for Amari. I'd be looking for a second. So if I told you can get a second-round pick additional, you can have Michael Gallup signed to a long-term deal, and you can have CeeDee Lamb already on his rookie deal, and his big contract will come too. So you can't pay all three of them big-time receivers. Well, you probably could because salary cap's a myth. But regardless, you do all of that, He might restructure his deal for another year, sure, but then you got to give him the year after going into 2024 in a contract year. Why not just get it done with? Use that second-round pick on a receiver. Maybe Simi Voko is that big-time threat receiver that we think he can be, who we just drafted out of Stanford. Who knows? But CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, that's still one of the best 1-2 wide receiver punches in the entirety of the NFL today. And I guarantee it'll be still the top NFL duo of wide receivers in the NFL heading into the 2023 season. So that's how you keep Michael Gallup, by the way. Got to get rid of Amari Cooper, but you still got him for a while. So let's go win a Super Bowl or two before we have to give Amari Cooper a big hug and a big goodbye. Okay. I don't know if I told you guys this, but we do have a special guest coming on the show today. Like I told you when it all kicked off and started a couple episodes ago, that we would have guests joining the show, interviews and stuff like that. And I'm excited about this first one. He's a big part of what Cowboys media is for the Inside the Star. He hosts a podcast called Dim Boys Podcast. We'll get him on here in just a little bit. But yeah, so that Amari Cooper thing, that's how it's going to go. And we'll go from there. But I think it'd work out. But let's go ahead real quick. And as we said, that's how you keep Michael Gallup, man. It sign him that 1-year deal. Go to into 2023. Have Cooper get traded or released. You save a lot of money doing that. A little bit on the books, $2 million, $4 million, whatever, which one you decide pre or post 6-1. And you go from there. Then you have CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup long-term on your team. And like I said, it's still one of the top wide receiver duos in the NFL. All right, let's move on. Let's welcome in on Cowboys and Cold Ones. Good friend on Twitter. He should get more love. That's Mr. Shane Carter. Shane, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How you doing, boss?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. Is that your room in the back? What's on the wall?
Yeah, I got one of those. Right behind me is Muhammad Ali. You got to have him. And right below him is MJ, of course. Okay. Over there to the left, up top we got the original triplets along with like some copies of the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl trio of 92, 93, and 95. And below them we got Dak and Zeke right there. This is all stuff that like I won. Well, that's stuff I won. Okay. And that right there is Mahomes. Is like a Mahomes. Is Mahomes when he won the Super Bowl as well as they. It's not like an actual ticket, or it's like sort of like it's not a recreation of a ticket. It's like a stamp copy of it, so to speak. And below that, if you can barely see it, it's my Emmitt Smith rookie card that I have framed. That's probably my favorite thing back there. And I peeped the Romo jersey and the Romo post right behind you.
Yeah, I got the Romo poster. I've showed you guys. It kind of went small, but I got my DeMarcus Lawrence one signed up. That's signed by Leon Lett and Jerry Jones.
Still.
So that's pretty cool to me. And then I got my man cave stuff and another Romo photo. But Cowboys and Cold Ones, appreciate you joining on. You're the first guest. We just stared this show like 3 weeks ago. So
cheers,
cool to have you on, man. What are you drinking?
Trying to wash my figure, so I got a Mick Ultra.
That'll help you lose a couple pounds. Well, that's what I had on the first show. I had Michelob Ultra. That's my favorite.
It gets a lot of hate. It's like the Nickelback of beers, but it's fine.
Nickelback's good.
I know, but it gets all the hate.
But no, I had Michelob, and then I went from that to wine. Went from wine because I only had to drink wine. I'm not a wine guy. Okay. My spouse stole my beer, gave it to her mother-in-law. So then the next week I stole her beer, some Chicago thing. And then I got this thing out of Indiana. I was showing them earlier, Sun King Brewery. It's some local IPA here in Indiana. I've never had it before, and it's actually pretty good. So
I'm gonna take your word for it. Ooh, you got the glass too.
Oh, yeah, dude. You got to go all out. When you say Cowboys and Cold Ones, you don't just grab the can and drink out of it.
It's like, have you ever been to a Cowboy store? I don't know if you've ever been in Texas before. They got Cowboy stores every month. You been there? Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's right. You used to work that. Okay, I forgot.
I used to work in Louisiana and Oklahoma, so I've been around there. And I went to the Dolphins game a couple of years ago.
Nice. It looks like you raided the Cowboy store and just took one of everything and just threw it on the wall.
Yeah, you should see I got a storage in my closet. I have a giant container that she doesn't let me bring out. Like, this is literally my office, and I get one corner of it. Nice. So, like, I'm not in charge.
No, this is my office too, but I mean, like, it's all mine. Nah, I ain't rocking the Cowboys. I'm rocking 90s Nicktoons today.
No, that's cool. This is the first time I wore this. The only reason I did this because I showed everybody. Mm-hmm. Can you see the screen if I show something on it?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Never mind. I already closed it. But anyway, it was at the beginning of the show. I showed the cool catch that CD had on Anthony Brown last week, or he went over him. And so I'm like, I'm gonna wear this, even though it's flipping hot in here. So this is burnt. This is one of those real jerseys. So they're thick.
It's the authentic one, like the
Okay. So I got this. I got a 54 Jalen Smith jersey. Thought that was gonna be cool. We'll talk about.
I've only got 2 jerseys.
I got 2.
Well, I mean, I love the players, but like I always had this like superstitious thing that goes back to when I was a kid, and whenever I wear the jerseys, it's back when they were bad, that they would always lose, right? Because like when I first started getting into football, and it'll kind of give away my age a little bit. Like my first Cowboys, my first Cowboys quarterback was Aikman, but it wasn't like early 90s Aikman; it was late 90s Aikman. So my first 88 was Irvin. My favorite player of all time is Emmett. I started wearing the jerseys more. About the time that all those guys started leaving, started retiring, they started going 5-11, 4-12, like for 6 years. And I was like, okay, superstitiously, like I'll wear the jersey, but I won't wear it during the game day. During game day, I'll wear Cowboys colors.
Okay.
And eventually, I outgrew some of the jerseys, so I just donated them. The ones I got left, I got a Jason Witten, and I got this for my birthday last year. I got an Amari Cooper. Love me some Amari, yeah.
I was just talking about getting rid of him, so. It was more of a get rid of him post 2023 or heading into 2023.
When the cap hit lowers, right?
Yeah, because I want Gallup. I want MG. I like him too much. Mm-hmm. No, I got Ezekiel Elliott. I got Dak Prescott. I got Tony Romo. I have DeMarcus Lawrence. I have CeeDee Lamb. I had an Orlando Scandrick one. I have Jalen Smith. Like I said, it's 54 jersey. Is he going to buy mine off the shelf? That's what I was always wondering. I think I got more, but I'm very superstitious. Like if the Cowboys win week 1 and I'm wearing this jersey, I have to wear that week 2. I'm a freak.
My first Cowboys jersey was an Emmitt Smith one, and I kind of inherited another one. My mama had a Dion jersey that I wore just for the fun of it. But she didn't really. I mean, she didn't hate the Cowboys, but I think she wore it just because like I liked them and all that. And so she kind of gave it to me because I was giving it to her as a gift, and so I ended up kind of like inheriting the Dion jersey.
Okay.
So, but I have Cowboys gear, but jerseys I don't buy because I'm a little superstitious about that, just a little bit. And 2, they're just expensive.
I'm going to say they're not cheap. I have to. I know 3/4 of them I didn't buy for myself, just Christmas and stuff. What's your earliest memory as a Cowboy fan?
Okay, so actually I do. So like when I first started getting into the Cowboys, and I credit this memory a lot. I actually remember being on my dad's lap and we were watching the Super Bowl where they played the Steelers, and to give you an idea, like I don't like giving my age out there, but I'll say I was older than 3, but I was younger than 10. So just because like I don't like putting
you're older than me.
Yeah,
I've seen the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I have memories of it, but I wouldn't really want to appreciate it. But at that point, I was like, okay, I'll start watching a little bit more and more football. It's kind of like how Space Jam, that got me into liking basketball.
Shout out, plug.
Well, and MJ was also my first favorite basketball player. So that would be my first memory of being a Cowboys fan. My first memory of like understanding the gravity of it, the appreciation of it. Honestly, it's probably like a bad memory, but you've probably seen. I don't know if you remember the game or if you've seen clips of it, but the Michael Irvin hit when he got hit against the Eagles, they cheered as he got carried, as he got walked out.
Ended his year,
ended his career. Exactly. Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, everyone remembers like little plays when you put up a video and all that, but only some plays that you can just remember off the top of your head. Like I remember the Randy Moss game where he had 3 touchdowns on 5 catches on Thanksgiving. Yeah, and yeah, that was nasty. I remember I remember the game whenever they played the Texans in the Texans debut game. And that was like a big deal because Houston hadn't had a team in like 3 years, and then they brought him back, and they broadcast it on it was Sunday Night Football, and everyone was talking about, oh, there's a brand new team, we'll see how they do. No one really expected them to beat the Cowboys because no one expects new teams to win, and I just remember like thinking like, how is this new team doing this? How? And I remember like after that game, everyone was saying that there's a new favorite team in Texas, there's a new better team in Texas or something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on to the Cowboys football talk a little bit. I mean, I know that's what we've been doing. I do want to show this out to people. This was from DallasCowboys.com, their Twitter. This is just a video real quick of practice or minicamp, whatever's going on right now. That's Micah Parsons jumping in front of a ball. You see that, Shane?
Mm-hmm.
What was your I mean, we could go back a little bit. I know it's been a few months or a couple months, but if you can go back and remember the Micah Parsons pick, happy, pissed, fuck everything, or what was it?
I was conflicted because he was my second-rated linebacker in the draft behind Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame.
Nice job.
Yeah,
that was impressive.
Oh yeah. And I remember thinking that, realistically, he definitely was the best defensive player available. But everyone in the Cowboys world, this, we wanted either J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. That was the favorites. That was like, okay, let's get one of these guys. Mm-hmm. And they went back-to-back from Carolina and Denver. So I was okay with the pick because they were able to also get a third-round pick out of the Eagles. So it kept a potential player from them going to Dallas instead. So I was fine with that. I like the pick in terms of, it filled the need. It was definitely the best defensive player available. He has the upside that you like. A lot of people talk about him being like the next Bobby Wagner or Deion.
I hate player comparisons, so I try not to do that.
I know, but you've heard them.
I know, we've heard them all.
The mixed feeling was because of the hazing incidents and all that, and it shows like off the field stuff. And anytime you have off the field issues, because the Cowboys have had players like that, it always brings up a concern of whether or not they have the character issues or not to translate to the NFL. Because the NFL.
Did he have a kid when that happened though? I don't know off the top of my head. I know he has a kid now, but like, was the kid with him?
I don't think the kid was with him, just because whenever I've read the reports, I don't remember the kid being involved in it, so I can't.
No, was the kid born yet? Like, was he a dad?
Was he born yet? I don't think so. See, I don't think so.
I can tell from experience because I have my own 10-month-old here. Like, being a dad changes you. Sure. I mean, you could do a lot of immature crap. Like, there's no excuse for the hazing, no excuse for the crap he did off the field.
Yeah.
But like, I'm big on second chances, and I mean, obviously, we know Jerry Jones is from all his past players. I thought, I'm like, okay, if we're not going to get Surtain, we're not going to get Horn. Then, yeah, people are mad they didn't get Slater, but they made it pretty clear they were going to fix the defense. Mm-hmm. And if they took Slater and the defense was still god-awful next year, even with a new defensive coordinator, because our linebackers suck and LB can't stay healthy and Sean Lee retired, so you're stuck with Jalen Smith running like – it doesn't matter. Anyway, but no, like I wasn't mad about it.
Right.
And now I'm watching these videos. Like, he just signed his, by the way, his contract today finally, fully guaranteed. That's
good for him. I love seeing that. I really do. Yeah, they finally get a chance to get your money.
Go get your money. That's what I'm saying. But I really feel like Micah, he's going to make a big impact. Whether, I mean, I saw someone complaining. He looks good in practice. Like, if we can call him a defensive end, or I'll feel a little better about drafting him early in the first round. I'm like, playmaker is a playmaker to me. Like, if you're a playmaker, go make plays. Whether you're a corner, a safety, a linebacker, an edge rusher. And Mike is probably a 3, a defensive end, edge rusher, and linebacker. He can do it all. So, like, you've got a hybrid, basically, and that's cool to me.
And really, when you look at the first round of the draft, and we saw last year with the Cowboys, you don't draft on need in the first round unless you need a quarterback or something like that. You draft based on talent and best player available. And Micah Parsons, whether people want to admit it or not, really did kind of fill that need.
Last time they tried to draft for need, it ended up being Taco Charlton, and look how that worked out.
I mean, you and I are on the same boat. They should have gone TJ. Everyone thought they should have gone TJ Watt. We all knew it then. We know it now.
That still pisses me off.
I like the pick. I really think if he didn't have that cloud of hazing over his head, he would have been a unanimously loved pick by everybody. The 11 looks clean on him. It really does.
Oh man.
I'm glad they changed the rule on that. I love seeing that. Some players pulled off really well.
Shout out to Cedric Wilson for giving him that.
Yeah.
I mean, giving him that. I don't think he really had a choice. But, no, it's Micah with him, even if he didn't have the hazing incident over his head, there have been people that still loved it, but people that still hated it because he's a linebacker.
Sure.
But there's so many people on Cowboys Twitter, as you know, and I understand, like, you don't take a off-ball linebacker that high. Well, I'm pretty sure Micah's going to play every spot on that. Mm-hmm. And he's going to blitz. He's going to play back there. And my biggest question coming in, That video we just saw was, well, how's his pass coverage going to look? From my understanding and from what I've been hearing from the guys like Hellman or everybody else on Cowboys Twitter, he's looked pretty good dropping back in coverage too. I think every day it's reported that he's had a pick six or an interception so far. So. And
that's the thing is that it's the fact that Cowboys Twitter wanted them to get a cornerback or a safety first because that's what they obviously needed. Mm-hmm. You could say they didn't need a linebacker that early, but they have a really deep linebacker core as a result of it now. And you just said it. Michael Parsons is so versatile. He's able to rush off the edges, or he can play man. He can cover pretty well. If he didn't have that hazing cloud over his head, or if it was more obvious that linebacker was a bigger need than we want to admit, he would have been an A+ pick.
Yeah,
I mean that's just flat out true. And now he joins a linebacker group, and we can assume all of them are healthy, that can run 5 deep. And you and I both follow Jeff Kavanaugh, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, and he put out a video the other day of talking about how he can get all 4 starting linebackers on the field at once, right? And I'll paint this picture up for you, right? So you start with, it would basically be like a 3-man front. So whoever your nose is, whether it's Bohanna or Urban or Gallimore, whoever, right? And then you got your 3 and your 5 techniques on the outside. Let's say Tank Lawrence and a guy I really like, Osa Digizua, on the other side, right? Because he can pass rush from that area. The way you do it now is that you have Jalen Smith on the outside of DeMarcus Lawrence at the sandbacker, right?
Okay.
In the middle, you have the Will and the Mike. The Mike would be, I think he said Leighton Vander Esch, and the Will was going to be Keanu Neal. And on the outside of him, playing that sort of 4-3 outside linebacker role, is what's called a Leo.
Yeah.
And that's Michael Parsons. In that position, you can either drop in coverage or you can rush from the edge. And with his athletic ability, and he's shown the ability to do all of it, that would make a lot of sense, and I'd like to see it. It also means that you don't have any sort of negative feelings with your linebacker group because you got so many guys who can play. We haven't even talked about Jabril Cox yet.
I was about to bring him up, like you said, the 4 linebackers. Like
Jabril
Cox, he excites me.
Yeah, they're gonna go 5 or 6 deep at linebacker this year, but that would be a way, and I'd be interested in seeing that you can get all the linebackers out there and possibly even improve your pass rush.
Yeah, speaking of linebackers, if I could say, hey, your 2022 linebacker duo is what for the Cowboys?
You got to start Michael Parsons. You don't draft a first-round pick and don't start him. Oh. And after that, I'm going to give the nod probably to Keanu Neal just because he's Dan Quinn's guy, especially if they're running Nick.
You think they'll re-sign him?
It depends if he stays healthy and if he can play well. Otherwise, they might just let him go. He's on a 1-year team-friendly deal. I think he's on one of those like, hey, I can still play. I'm looking to get that next contract extension.
I'm not saying linebacker duo for this year. I'm saying linebacker duo for next year.
Okay. So next year. It depends. Okay, so I think no matter what, I think they let Leighton Vander Esch walk.
You think so, no matter what?
I don't know if they want to pay for another linebacker the way they did with Jalen. They might be looking to move Jalen. I really could see if Keanu Neal doesn't come back on another team-friendly deal or gets that extension, then I could see Jabril Cox taking that second linebacker spot because
from day one, I think it's Cox and Barsons. I think Jalen Smith's gone. I think LVE's gone. If they can re-sign Ken O'Neal, that's a 3 linebacker set there. I mean, you keep Jalen Smith, you're not paying him that kind of money to sit on the bench.
Right.
But if he plays the way he has been, you can't do it. Like, in your opinion, is the Jalen Smith criticism fair, Shane?
I think in some games it was fair, but a lot of it's because like it went from the expectations of him coming off an injury like he did in college to okay, he's an All-Pro, Pro Bowl linebacker now, so his expectations rose. Whereas he started playing more like the year 1/year 2 linebacker than he had been when he became one of the league's best linebackers. Some of his games he actually looked pretty well. He's actually tackling well. He blitzed well. He did fine. But some games, he would take terrible angles. He would run into blocks. He would miss tackles, and he just didn't look the same guy. So it's fair when you're talking about him being as supposed to be one of the best linebackers in the league. I think some of the criticism was a little too harsh. Just because I feel like we put him in a microscope in a year where everyone was pretty much bad except for a couple of guys. I didn't think he was as bad as everyone says, but he definitely won the All-Pro linebacker that we've known him to be.
Did you see the way he ran, though? Like, when he had the sprint, and I'm trying to say this the cleanest I could, he was. It looked like he was just standing straight up, and he had a peg. Like, something was wrong where he couldn't get to that full speed anymore. Yeah. It looked weird as hell. Like, I can cuss on this show, but I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. It looked like he had some. And it just didn't look right. Like, it blew my mind. And I thought half the time his head was turned around the wrong way or he was going through the wrong gap. Regardless, he didn't look like a smart football player. And a lot of the criticism that people are saying is he cares more about his brand than football. I don't think that's necessarily true, but
yeah,
I mean you're go get your money, but I'm all about people having a brand, people going to get their money on off the field, like do great. But Dak Prescott has his own brand when it comes to whatever shoe deal he's on, all these commercials he's in, the mental awareness thing he's been focusing on. That's a brand for him.
He's in a music video.
There you go. And he's off the field with Post Malone. Off the field, his brand is good, but on the field, he's just as good. So I need your brand focus to be however good you want it to be, but that has to equal, if not be more of a focus than what you're doing on the field. And that's not what Jalen showed me last year.
Sure.
And I just don't. I mean, there's a way to get out of his contract after this year. I just don't think see how the Cowboys can keep him unless he just has another all-pro year or just it doesn't have to be all-pro, I guess. I mean, he led the NFL for a majority of the time in tackles, but I mean, some of those tackles were just running right into him too.
Yeah, because
that's his position.
Because he was the weak link of the defense a lot of times. People said, okay, we're going to run right at him. I don't care if he tackles us or not, we're going to get 5 or 6 yards because the front line, they can't rush, they can't blitz, they can't hold the run. So Jalen's going to get the tackle, but even if he doesn't, we're still going to get 5-6 yards. So, I mean, you're right. I'm not going to talk about his brand and all that because, like, I think a lot of that's speculation. And if it's true, then you're absolutely right. Otherwise, you know, I'm not going to, like, sit here and clown a guy's
No,
brand.
I'm not clowning him. Like,
right.
Go do your brand. That sunglasses thing is what I'm talking about, whatever it's called. He paid attention to that a lot. He does a lot of good things off the field.
Sure.
Like the dude's from Indiana right here. He went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Where I'm at. He's from Fishers. Just like Randy Gregory's from Fishers, Indiana too.
Is he?
Yeah, he is actually. One of my buddies from college was he talks to him all the time, and he talked to him in college, and I walked in on it. I was like, well, this is kind of cool. Nice. But that he was talking to him during the time when Randy didn't really have his head on straight or things weren't going his way. That's another thing. Like, I'm beyond pumped for that dude. So happy to see him turning around.
And Jalen Smith keeps being brought up as like a player the Cowboys want to look at dumping a contract because they have 5 key free agents next year. You talked about Michael Gallup earlier. You just mentioned Randy Gregory. You also got Connor Williams. Talked about Leighton Van Der Esch and Dalton Schultz, who just came off his best season ever, and he looks like a very competent tight end one. So they could be looking.
Connor Williams is one of those. I don't think he's a free agent they bring back, but
that's tough because it feels like every year he gets better. It feels like his rookie year was kind of his second year he looked okay, it's pretty good. Then he got hurt, and then this last year he was the only starter to stay healthy all year, and he looked like he was the only one that was good.
Yeah,
I mean, he's starting to struggle. Everyone struggles against Aaron Donald and all the guys, but
that job's not easy.
Right, but they also have a cheaper option in a player named from a different name, Connor McGovern.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, who I was high on Penn State. I'm pretty sure you were too. You know, you live in Indiana. You're in Big Ten country. I'm sure you know all about. I think that he might be an expendable free agent that they have, unless he has like this All-Pro year and they just can't let him go because. You know, I think if we go back to
for a year, I don't know how they're going to afford him.
Right. That's another thing is that like it might just be cheaper just to go with Connor McGovern because he's on a 3rd-round pick salary.
I mean, if Connor Williams struggles this year, like don't be surprised. The chatter is going to get loud. Like put Connor McGovern in, and because I thought he played well last year at times.
He did.
And he had his struggles at the beginning, but that's like his first NFL snaps in a meaningful game too.
It looked like whenever their offensive line was hurt, the best front 5 they had was whenever they had pushed Zach Martin out to right tackle, then they put Connor McGovern in at the right guard. Then they put Biotish, who you and I both love, at the center. Connor Williams was still manning the left guard, and then it was not Terrence Steele. It was
Brandon Knight.
Yeah, Brandon Knight at left tackle, and Brandon Knight ain't that great of a left tackle, but he was a lot more serviceable than Terrence Steele. That to me, with all the injuries on the offensive line, was probably your best set. So Connor McGovern. Go ahead.
You real quick. You mentioned Brandon Knight on the show last week. I did 3 surprise cuts. He was actually one of them. Because I think Mike McCarthy just loves Terrence Steele so much for some reason he'd rather keep him.
Well, I'm a Red Raider, so
I say you're from the Texas Tech area.
Yeah,
so.
But I also trust my eyes. You know, and I mean, my eyes say there's a reason he went undrafted.
Now he got a salary jump because he played so many snaps.
Well, he had to. That's just part of the CBA.
Oh, good for him. I mean, I saw when he did that, I didn't go, oh, he didn't deserve that. Like some fans did in the comments, but I thought he deserved it.
Like, no, he deserved it. he didn't it didn't look like he did, but I mean, based on the rules, he earned it.
We talked a lot. We brought up a lot of the defense. Do you have anything else on the defense? What are you going to say?
Unless you want to move on to something else, we were like start with the linebackers and kind of spread out from there.
I know it just kicked out. But I was just gonna bring up the guy who, I mean, he's been talked about all off season, all last year, but it's finally nice to talk about the football aspect of Dak, man. Dak not having to, hey, when are they going to pay him? Like, why the hell has Jerry not opened his blank check yet? And I'm pumped for him. He's a great human. But, dude, I don't know why and how he looks so easy. Like, he's smooth as hell right now on the football field. Like, after that injury, I remember when he got hurt last year. I mean, I got chills down my spine. I sat back, and I teared up because I saw it in Dak's face because Dak's a warrior. His off-the-field stuff he does, his on the field, he's the true leader. And Tony Romo was my favorite football player for the Cowboys for a long time, like he was. Sure. But Dak is moving right up in there just because of the person he is on and off the field. But like, how pumped are you for Dak being back?
I've been pumped for Dak ever since he got drafted. I first became a fan of Dak before he got drafted because I saw him against LSU and against A&M his last year.
Okay.
And he was actually the quarterback I wanted the Cowboys to get, one, because he talked about being a Cowboys fan growing up, and two, I just remember him being so amazing. He was probably my favorite pick of that year behind Zeke, just because they had a really good draft that year. And I've been excited.
You could have taken Jalen Ramsey, then Derrick Henry, then Dak, but it's hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, how many teams will go back to 2000 and they take Tom Brady?
No, I mean, how many people will go back to Dak's draft year and take him over Carson Wentz?
Goff, yeah, he'd be number one pick.
Easy.
He's the number one pick. Yeah, he'd be
everybody talks about. You can go back and do things like that, but whatever. No, I mean, I remember when he got drafted. I remember when him and Zeke got drafted. That was a fun draft. I was sitting I think it was at my dad's house, and I followed Dak in college just a little bit. I knew he had those DUI troubles, but I just felt like, I mean, I knew he lost his mom. He's been through a lot. He just recently lost his brother.
Yeah,
for him to keep on going and still preaching the gospel of being a tough warrior and what's his saying? God, faith, family. I can't remember what it is. Three. Him and his brother each had one on their arms. 3 of them, but his is, I think, faith. And how do you not want to go to war for Dak? I think Colin said in his conference the other day, if not yesterday, even better. Like, how do you not want to go to war for that guy? He'll protect him any day of the week.
He makes you want to run into a brick wall. He is maybe the best leader in terms of quarterbacks. Not necessarily the best quarterback, because I got like maybe 4 or 5 guys I put ahead of him, respectfully. But in terms of being a leader, he might be like right there behind like guys like Brady and stuff like that, just because, like, you know, you saw what the team was like without him, and you realize that he actually is a quarterback that made guys around him better. He became that kind of guy. At first, he was a quarterback that the weapons and the line around him helped him to progress. But he became the guy that everyone thought he could, and he became the catalyst for the offense. He became the field general. He went from being a run first, hand the ball, throw on play action every now and then kind of guy, to a guy that you can keep in the pocket and throw a nice little dart to CD on the outside, or a deep bomb to your guy Michael Gallup, or a slant, or a sluggo, my favorite route by Amari, and he'll get 300 or 400 yards each time. And when he went down, you saw how far the offense and the team faltered without him. And I think that was probably the biggest thing that got him paid, was that not how well he played, because he did. He was on pace for like 6,000 yards. But it was because they saw how bad this team is without him. And that's what got him his money.
Dalton did well enough to get a starting gig in Chicago, which I hope he really does not start there. But
Justin Fields all day.
Yeah, but they keep saying, hey, Andy Dalton's our number one. They keep telling Andy Dalton. Whatever. No, but, yeah, Dak's a true warrior. I mean, if they wouldn't have signed him, I don't even know. I mean, I would have been a Cowboy fan, but I would have been frustrated for a while. Like, right. What am I supposed to do now? Like, well, let's get ready for the Ben DiNucci show. I mean, that was awful.
Yeah, he was fun to watch run, but I mean, he couldn't. He
tried to throw like Mahomes, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, he looked like he was trying to shoot a Nerf gun into a tornado.
At least that was still a bright spot of the season, because we got to see him and he was bad, but it was funny to watch. So at least I laughed. It was better than watching that Arizona Cardinals game on Monday Night Football where he got blown out of the water, and I stayed up all game for that.
Mm-hmm. And to that point, we saw a bunch of rookies play, and we saw, like, even despite a bunch of lack of talent, or not lack of talent, but like a lack of play around them, like just how good they actually are. Tyler Biadasz, coming from the same school as Travis Frederick, another Big Ten school. He's the center of the future. You got CeeDee Lamb, who put up good numbers despite having inconsistency at quarterback.
All the receivers did.
Yeah. But him and Amari, like, they were the clear 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Dalton Schultz stepping up, and then you see Trevon Diggs actually had a pretty decent year when you think about it, considering how bad the secondary was. Donovan Wilson, my favorite guy, I loved him from his A&M days.
Oh my gosh, man, that play on how he played against the Eagles and Carson Wentz, how he just torpedoed at him.
Mm-hmm. And Minnesota,
I love some Wilson Hive. Oh, that hit on Minnesota. What Cook?
Dalvin Cook.
The hit on Cook, dude. Oh my God.
He cooked
blew him up. I think I woke up my neighbors. I would go, "Oh shit!" And I had to get quiet down. Your kid's asleep. I don't care. You see that hit? Like, dude, Wilson Hive. I mean, there's so many. Like, people keep talking about that. That defense is bad. The offense is what's carrying them. But there were some pieces that got to play last year on that deep. Then you insert Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's he will make them better. I 100% agree that Michael Parsons will make them better. I think Kelvin Joseph, when he gets that CB2 job finally, I don't know if he's going to start the year out there, because I don't know if they want to go, hey, go cover Antonio Brown and Mike Evans against Tom Brady for your first ever NFL game. Here you go. I think he'll play, but that's a Trayvon Diggs, Kelvin Joseph duo, and then Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown fighting it out. And Anthony Brown, do you see the thing on him? He broke a rib early in practice during the year, then broke more, then had some, like, a lung puncture or something. Like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I also like that Dan Quinn, unlike I forgot our DC's last year's name. But the one thing, anyways, the one thing they learned, One thing that I like to see is that they're keeping Jordan Lewis at the nickel, because we've seen Jordan Lewis on the outside. He ain't the same guy. In the nickel, he's dynamic. He really is. He is a great nickel cornerback.
The same can be said about Anthony Brown. I don't like seeing him out there in the outside either, though.
But you do like to have cornerbacks who have versatility. He's probably the only cornerback on the roster that could play outside inside.
I mean, I agree. Yeah, I don't want to see Jordan Lewis outside. And it's not because of his height. That's just what he's good at.
Yeah, he's much better from the inside.
Why does that make sense? Like, you're better in the middle of the field, but you're not better on the outsides. Like, I feel it's more. I mean, it's difficult to be a slot corner. I mean, you know that. I mean, it's not easy,
especially nowadays. Because nowadays
the slot guys are the best players.
Mm-hmm.
We had Cole Beasley. Who's guarding him at that time, or even now? CeeDee Lamb's our slot guy now, and you can put Amari in the slot. Gallup. Yeah, I mean, they don't just – I mean, a couple of teams do, but, like, NFL teams don't just dictate one player to the slot. They'll scoot their guys outside and have someone else inside. And, I mean, you see tight ends always lined up in the slot too if they have 2 tight end sets, which you might see that from Schultz and Jarwin this year. I'm excited to have Blake back. There's a big conversation on Twitter recently. Is Schultz your tight end 1 or is Jarwin? And in my head, why does it matter? They're both going to play and they're both going to be better. And I know a year ago today – I was one of those guys saying maybe it's time to cut Dalton Schultz. Like, I'm honest. He proved the hell out of me wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Dalton Schultz, we knew he was a great run blocker. That's the one thing he had over Blake Jarwin is he was just a much better run blocker. He was. Blake Jarwin had to, like, kind of elevate his game there, whereas Dalton Schultz had to learn how to be a much better receiver. And this past year, because he was forced into action, he had 63 catches, over 600 yards. He was, I think, their 4th leading receiver, if I remember right. And he took on that role as the tight end 1 in place of Blake Jarwin. Because
wasn't your Twitter pin tweet for a while, the Blake Jarwin Giant Killer video?
Yeah. I was trying to get that nickname going because I want to call Blake Jarwin Giant Killer because most of his touchdowns in his career, and you can look this up, came against the Giants. Yeah. And so, but I like to renew my pin tweet every. I don't want to keep it like one from a year ago. That's lame. So, but
if you go retweet it right now, I'll play it on the show. But I think Blake's good enough too. Like, he's gonna play more snaps than Schultz probably. But Schultz is he earned his playing time. It's good to have, like, everybody's like, let's draft Kyle Pitts. And don't get me wrong, if Kyle Pitts was there, take Kyle Pitts.
Right.
But Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz get the job done. especially when a lot of the focus is going to be on those three receivers out wide. I mean, Zeke's still going to get focused because I don't know if you've seen Zeke, but it's slim Zeke now.
Yep.
He is slimmed down.
Slender man.
Off-season videos, and dude, he looks – I think that's what this offense required. I read it from somebody. Somebody said it, that Zeke wasn't ready, that Mike McCarthy's offense in year one isn't offensive friendly to a running back, which it never really has been. So he needed a year to adjust. And I wonder, I don't know if he got slim because of that reason, because he's going to have to be in the out of the backfield more catching, but he's still going to run the football, and he looks as smooth as he did his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like to see some 22 personnel with both tight ends and Zeke and Tony Pollard out there. You'd have all kinds of looks out there because you've seen Tony Pollard, him playing some receiver in the OTAs. I don't know if that's just just to fill in spaces or whatever.
I think it's to fill in space, but I also believe we saw packages last year where the running back went in motion and played another slot receiver.
And also he played receiver at Memphis. He knows how to play the position.
I dare you put a linebacker on Tony Pollard. See how that goes.
There's like maybe one or two linebackers in the league. They could probably cover him man to man, and that's
you'll see one of those guys week one.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's right. Devin White. Yeah, that might be it. I mean, there's fast linebackers out there. I don't know if there are fast linebackers that can cover and do all three. Some of them could, but I mean, I would not put a linebacker on Tony Pollard.
I'm a big fan of Darius Leonard. He might be able to do it. That's not me.
He probably could, but I still think Tony Pollard would probably be able to separate from him. But Darius Leonard's probably better covering tight ends than he is running backs.
So we did this on the show.
Shame.
Yeah, we did this on the show last week. If you had to guess one or two guys who are going to be surprise cuts come training camp's over, who do you think they are?
Surprise cuts. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't prep you for this.
No. Okay, so I remember your show last. I'm not gonna say Noah Brown. I'm not gonna say Brandon Knight. I'm gonna say. Let me think, because I think about this. God, surprise cuts. You know what? What about Anthony Brown for one of them? Only because is what if Kelvin Joseph really does take over that starting spot? Jordan Lewis is like set at the nickel. And then Nashawn Wright, who's had a great offseason so far, he fits the Dan Quinn system a lot better.
He's gonna make a lot of us look dumb, I think.
And they think that Anthony Brown, as versatile as he is, me, I said he's their most versatile cornerback. Mm-hmm. He might be expendable. I think he would be one. I'm not saying he is, but I think he would be one a surprise cut. And the other one, which I would be fine with, just because I never really been a fan of his, would be Tristan Hill. And here's why: he was a Marinelli pick. He didn't play good at all in his rookie year. He got hurt last year. What have you done for me lately? Going into year 3.
He looked good before he got hurt.
Yeah, but he still got hurt. And he's also has no loyalty there. Like he's seen, this is his third different DC, so he's got no one else. Like there's no other defensive coaches there that are going to vouch for him. He's got to earn his spot. And I already like guys like Neville Gallimore and Osa Digizua and Brent Urban. Better than him,
man. He's Brent Urban good for this defense, dude.
Yeah, he's a huge man that's going to be clogging up that nose. And then Quentin Bohanna is going to be a fun project to fill in behind at the nose.
I'm going to say you put Bohanna there, you put Urban over on one of the ends, you put Lawrence there.
You can run a 3-man with that.
You can run a 3-man with that, but even if you put a 4th man on there and had 3 linebackers, Carlos Watkins could be a surprise cut, or he could be a big time player.
Would be that surprise though?
Because in the first press conference we had from Dan Quinn, I'm pretty sure he mentioned Carlos Watkins' name more than anybody else. So from that standpoint, yes. From like the casual fan, no. From the guys that pay attention, probably might be a little surprised, but you can't keep them all. But if you had, like I said, you had DeMarcus Lawrence, you had Brent Urban, you had Bohanna, somebody else there, probably you could have Neville there, somebody, those linebackers back there, and Neal, Micah, LVE as your run stoppers. We sucked at stopping the run. We have for a long time. And shame to do. I finally think that we're going to be able to stop the run, and we're not going to let some no-name running backs run all over us in the playoffs.
Like Wayne Gallman
or freaking the Rams guy.
Henderson.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
I don't need the defense to be top 10. I need them to be average, because that's how good our offense is.
Be 15th or 16th. Be in the middle.
That's all I need, dude. It's all I need.
Yeah. The only reason I would be considered Carlos Watkins a surprise pick is just because he was a low priority free agent signing who's really on he's trying to get his second stint going. I went with Anthony Brown and Tristan Hill more just because Tristan Hill is a second round pick. He's only in his third year, and Anthony Brown is still under contract, and he right now is a projected starter. And we've seen projected starters get cut. That happens. Dan Bailey a couple years ago, just an example. So they would be more surprised than me to get cut than Carlos Watkins, just because I think realistically the Cowboys are going to keep maybe 6 defensive tackles, and you and I could probably name off who they are. And if Tristan Hill won them, we could probably name off 6 guys that you and I right now would feel better at. I mean, right off the top of my head, Neville Gallimore, Osa Odighizuwa, Brent Urban, Quentin Bohanna, and then after that, it's a little tough. Who else?
You could. I don't know if do you count Golston as a D end or D tackle, or is he? I think he's both because I think he's basically coming in to replace Tyrone Crawford's role.
He is the Tyrone Crawford. He's that guy. That's all he is. Yeah, I mean, if he does, I think if you designate him as an end, it frees up a defensive tackle spot. But just because he's able to play the 3 tech and in the edge rush spot, you could do either one of them. But so let's just say hypothetically that they keep your guy Carlos Watkins, right?
He's not my guy. Chill.
And then so that leaves him with 1 spot left. Who else are you going to keep? I mean, there's limited spots there. Because right now, I think you and I would agree. Now Gallimore is better than Tristan Hill. Brent Urban. Sorry, Brent Urban's better at the very least at stopping the run. He's going to be a starter. He looks like he's going to be a starting nose. And Osa Odighizuwa has so much talent, so much strength. He's going to be so good
for him,
especially in the pass rush. Especially in the pass rush.
I thought the Cowboys had a good draft. Like the only questionable pick was Noshawn Wright, but he's starting to prove us wrong just in mini camps, which it's not preseason, it's not the actual game, but
that pick I had less issue with than I did the Josh Ball pick or Josh Bell, the tackle from Marshall, just because he has those.
Is it Josh Ball? I think it's Josh Ball.
It's Bell. It doesn't matter. The point is, he has those allegations of domestic violence, which I have a zero tolerance for. And just because whenever he was asked about it, he didn't really answer the question the right way. He said, "I'm trying to move on from it, trying to forget it." And when you
think he'd be ready to answer that? Is Josh Ball? Think he'd be ready for that stuff?
That was because
we're talking about his interview on the draft show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way he came out, it was just like, if it really is behind him, I can't backtrack. Earlier in the show, I said I'm okay giving second chances when I was talking about the DUI of Dak Prescott. I know they're not the same things. Don't get me wrong, DUIs and hitting women, that's so messed up, fucked up. You can't do that. I will never advocate for that. But if he really did turn his life around, he's paid his dues. I'm not saying you should, but if you take that away from him, he would have been a top 100 pick.
Probably.
Talent based.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
And the way Jerry talked, he thinks it's behind him. He's there for his talent right now, from my understanding. So I don't think he's going anywhere. And Josh Ball, if he's as good as they say he is, he's going to be that first swing tackle, and he's going to play probably whenever Smith retires, which won't be for a while. But that's our depth behind the offensive line's better too, I guess.
I think Ty Nsekhe would get the first nod at the swing tackle just because he has starting experience in the NFL. But yeah, Ball looks like he would be in line for that second tackle spot.
Regardless, I think he's going to be on the roster.
Unless he just can't win, then I don't see how he didn't make the roster. And it's a 4th round pick. If he doesn't make the roster, oh well.
I wouldn't shed a tear over it.
Yeah. If you look at the draft picks, another guy that people are talking about is that Simi Fehoko, that kid from Stanford, and
that's one of the reasons why I think I'm okay with getting rid of Amari before 2023, because I'm not saying he's a starting receiver in the NFL, but and I hate the way PFF worded this. I think I said it last week. He's a unflourished or something along the lines. He basically compared him to a raw DK Metcalf, which I was like, excuse the hell.
It's only because of the size and the speed.
That's it. But also Davis Mills threw him a lot of balls that were awful. He left him out to dry in a lot of the games. I think one game he should have 400 receiving yards based off the film I watched. He's raw, but he has the talent, and you give him a full offseason, a full season to work in. I think he's that's why I'm okay with getting rid of Noah Brown. Because I think Cedric Wilson, I said it last week, sticks around because he'll be your punt returner. He'll be your special teams guy, along with C.J. Goodwin, along with Fehoko. But Fehoko's going to fill in that wide receiver 5 role rotate with him and Cedric, and I think he'll play a part. I don't know about you, but when I watch Fehoko, he's so good at that seam route. He needs to work on the other routes, but that seam route, that's big time play potential.
Yeah, and for anyone who's watching this now or later, Fajoko's best routes are the seam routes, the go routes, anywhere where he's going deep. Essentially, give him a straight line or maybe a tiny little corner or something like that. That's his best route. He doesn't have a huge route tree. He's not gonna run a lot of unders. Not gonna run any zag routes, any flag routes, 7 routes, anything like that. He was essentially their deep threat. He really was, which is fine because he's 6'4", 235 or something like that, and he ran a 4.3 something 40. Which, you think of that size and speed, you're like, oh, my God, we got something here. But, you can look like Tarzan and play like Jane. We've seen it before. My first one that comes to mind is Dorial Green-Beckham. Remember him from the Titans?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That flamed out real quick.
All the potential in the world, everything, and it did nothing with him. So the whole DK Metcalf thing is way too premature. But given his size and speed, he obviously has the tools to succeed. But you're right. We agree he has to learn more routes than just the ones that go deep. He can
You're good. Go ahead.
But you can definitely use him in that route, and especially if you got a last second Hail Mary, or if you need a long play or something like that. You go and put him out there, see what you got, because that's his forte. Why not, right?
We'll play a couple snaps a game, I think.
Yeah, but don't expect him to be a 3-down receiver right out the gates.
No, I think he needs that's one of the things I mentioned. I don't know if it was last show or the show before. Everybody hated on the preseason. I was one of them, we don't need the preseason, or we don't need this many. But now that we didn't have it, I'm excited for the preseason for guys like Bradley and Reggie Robinson, Simi Fehoko, and all these guys to actually go out there and play. I don't need to see Dak Prescott play a single snap. Nope. I don't need to see these guys play a single snap. I really don't. I thought we needed to see Romo a series, and how'd that turn out? I mean, we got our future quarterback out of it, but played in Seattle and boom. I don't need to see these big guys, but I'm excited for Trayvon Diggs. I think he'll play. He'll need to play to get more reps. I think a little bit, but Kelvin Joseph will play a lot, I would assume. And then all these now we get to see Wright. I can't pronounce that corner's name. We took out of the same school that Horn went to, but he's
Israel Mukawamu.
There you go, dude. You're a stud.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to hear him pronounce all these guys' names better than I can, it's a Dem Boys podcast, by the way. So tune into that with Shane Carter. And who's your co-host on that?
Joe Ovalle. You've been on the show once before.
Yeah, I've drank since then.
It's all good. I mean, you talk to me more than you do Joe, but I mean, but no, we had to put the show on hiatus for a month because he moved into a new house and he recently had a baby. My nephew Luke. Yeah, but he's been busy with that with his wife and all that, so we had to put it on a hiatus for a little bit, which is fine because I recently started my career over at Flow Sports as well as doing my.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to ask about that. What's that all about?
So I'm just going to tell you right now. So that job, essentially, I have to monitor sporting events from Division II baseball or Division I baseball, wrestling, cheerleading, biking in Europe, pretty much any kind of sport you don't see on ESPN but it exists. Mm-hmm. I'm going to watch it. The highest profile sports I'll watch will be Division I baseball because I recently just saw the Big East baseball tournament. We'll see some Division II football as well as basketball. You see a lot of fighting, like wrestling and boxing and stuff like that. And essentially, my job is to monitor and make sure the ads are going through, make sure that the productions are going well. And it's an easy job. I love it, and I'm hella happy about it. Shit.
Full time? Yeah,
full time. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you got to go get that bread. But yeah, you get to work in sports media. That's a goal. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. They're packing grogroceries at Walmart, and they want to get the jobs that we're able to get. And
I told them eventually
it's a grind.
I told them eventually I want to get to that point where I'm going to be kind of like this. I'm going to be part of the talent crew, like someone who's either behind the mic or in front of the camera or something like that. Because for those that don't know, in addition to my show, I also have broadcasted Texas high school football. And if anyone in America knows anything about football, Texas high school football is insane. Yeah. And even though I only went back and forth between 2 different schools doing that the last couple of years, it's no less insane as you would think it would be.
It's fun doing high school radio
It really
broadcasts,
is.
man. I don't know if you did it for stream or radio, but I do mine on radio. I actually have a state championship game I got to call for softball. I was not like when I got assigned softball for a little bit, because I did baseball and softball in the spring. Softball, I was kind of like, softball, like, is that exciting? But dude, it's fast paced. It's actually really good.
And once you're into it, and once you're into it, you actually enjoy it.
Last night in the World Series games between Oklahoma and Florida State, but that game was good too.
I didn't see it, but I saw the highlights. I heard like it's like a packed crowd, and it's like one of the most like viewed softball games in years. I think what it was is COVID took away a lot of sports, and so they're kind of like me. They're watching every sport they can because they took it for granted when they had it. Like I watched a lot of different sports I never watched before this past year, just because that was kind of like my New Year's resolution. I'm gonna watch as much as I can of stuff I never watched. I watched recently just because it was on.
Well, that's also your job.
Cornhole. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it was before I even had the job. Like I watched cornhole on ESPN, and I don't consider cornhole a sport. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. Why not? And it's actually kind of fun to watch. I ain't gonna lie. It's dumb, but it's fun.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just over an hour on the show already. I'm gonna talk about one more topic, and then I'll get you out of here. All right, Shane. I was talking about this earlier with somebody, but the aspects of the team heading into the season, we know the offense is gonna be a juggernaut. We knew the defense sucked ass last year, and hopefully they're average this year with a Dan Quinn, bringing over the Atlanta boys and Neal and Casey, which, by the way, Casey already in the field after Achilles tear blows my mind.
Good for him.
And everything else. What aspects of the team are you most excited for on all three stages of the ball? Coaching staff, doesn't matter. And then what are you kind of more worried about?
Okay, so I mean, I'm excited to see Dak come back for sure. I think you and I both agree about that. But in terms of like the new thing that we're going to look at, I'm excited to see this new look secondary, because it looks like they're going to have, compared to last year's week 1, there's only going to be one starter from last year who's going to start week 1 this year. And that's going to be probably Anthony Brown, unless he gets his spot taken away. Because, I mean, Trevon Diggs was a rotational guy first, and then eventually became the starter.
Mm-hmm. So, which I think that's the same thing will happen with Joseph, probably.
Right. Joseph looks like it. I mean, I think we all expect Joseph to eventually become that cornerback, too. He's too talented not to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what that secondary looks like, because Casey looks like – I mean, we saw him in Atlanta. He was more than capable at the free safety. Donovan Wilson is a stud at strong safety. I'm happy that they're keeping Jordan Lewis strictly at the nickel. I mean, he's a great nickel. He's a playmaker at the nickel.
Yeah.
Trevon Diggs had a really solid rookie year despite the secondary being garbage. He actually looked pretty good, and now he's cornerback 1. And eventually Kelvin Joseph will get there at that cornerback 2 spot, unless Anthony Brown is just like a world beater and just like won't give it up, which is fine. I have no problem with guys like being great, but I'm excited for the new look secondary.
Before you move on from the secondary, see a PFF ranked them heading into the season.
I did.
Secondary unit 31st.
I don't doubt it. I'm going to guess that the worst secondary had to be either Oakland or Las Vegas or Atlanta. It had to be one of those two.
It was Atlanta.
Yep. It had to be one of those two.
Hey, they just got rid of – I mean, I told them at the beginning of the show when we started this whole thing, I won't talk about giant NFL topics unless they're equivalent to the Cowboys.
Sure.
So Julio Jones got traded to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. It's actually kind of equivalent because last year I wonder if Atlanta's kicking their teeth in for taking A.J. Terrell instead of CeeDee Lamb to pick before Dallas.
Well, I mean, now they probably are, but I mean, they should have been back then too.
They should have taken CeeDee Lamb. I was scared. I thought he was gone because I thought they were going to have that wide receiver trio at the time of Julio, Calvin Ridley, and then freaking CeeDee, but we got him. All right, so you're excited about that. What are you worried about?
What I'm worried about would be probably the health of the offensive line. And it's only because we know how good they are when they're out there. But Tyron Smith has an injury history. Lel Collins missed all of last year. Zach Martin, who you could probably might say is the best overall offensive lineman in the league. Maybe he's definitely up there. Okay. He's the catalyst for that offensive line. And then you got Tyler Biadasz coming back, who played really well his rookie year. He's going to be the new center.
He's got no competition.
But I am concerned about the health because I don't know about the depth behind them. I still like Ty and Secchi. But who would fill in for these other guys if something were to happen? Well, McGovern probably might even compete for a starting spot, so we'll see about that. But
versus Williams.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if McGovern takes a spot because he's better, I have no problem putting the 5 best players out there. I have no problem with that. I really don't. But the health, it used to be just the health of Tyron Smith. Now it's the health of pretty much the whole unit. Because we can't forget Connor Williams tore his ACL in his second year, so he has injury history too. Biotish, I think, missed a game or two. I can't remember what it was with him, but like that entire offensive line, the health is the one thing that would hold them back. Otherwise, we'd have a top 5, definitely top 10 offensive line unit.
You don't make me feel positive about that, though. I think they said Tyron Smith, he was talking. He had that surgery because of all the issues he's been having. He thinks it's going to take away all his back issues, his neck issues from that one surgery, because he was talking about how he wants to play longer than he is right now. Like, we all think Tyron Smith is so old. Do you know his age off the top of your head?
I think he's 30 or 31, right?
Pretty sure he's 30. Yeah, he's 30. He'll be 31 in December. So towards the end of this season, he's only 30. He's been playing in the NFL for a while. He had that surgery. It's supposed to make him better. Leo Collins, I think that surgery is going to help him. So, like, guys have surgeries, like we know, after a while, after having all these problems. So if those 2 tackles can stay healthy, Zach Martin, like, he's usually consistently healthy. He had a little off last year because it was just the injury bug in the room. Mm-hmm. I think Connor Williams or Connor McGovern, whoever's playing in the left guard, Tyler didn't really have that many issues injury-wise, did he? So
he missed a game or two, but it wasn't like a major issue.
Those Wisconsin farm boys don't miss games.
Yeah, no. All they do is they just, it feels like they just grow a new bone or something like that. I don't know.
I'm excited for Biotish. So yeah, so you're excited. You're excited about the new look secondary, and you're worried about the offensive line staying healthy. But if they do stay healthy, they'll be one of
the best offensive lines in the league. That's just fact. That's what they are. They have Hall of Famers across there. So yeah,
I'm big superstitious, so I don't like. I mean, I'll just for the fans, the listeners. I go through like, hey, the first 6 weeks of the year, here's what I think is going to happen. I don't necessarily like doing that, but if you were able to, if I told you, Dak stays healthy, offensive line stays healthy, Zeke is slim, so he looks good. These trio receivers have career years. This defense is average. What's the team's ceiling?
They'll win the NFC East. They'll host a playoff game, and at the very least, get to the second round.
So, what's the highest you think this team can go if everything goes right, stays healthy?
Championship. You have an elite quarterback. You've pretty much filled every hole that you could ask for. If health's the one thing holding you back, but everyone stays healthy, there's no reason why, one, you shouldn't just slide into the playoffs because of the NFC least. It's just what it is. And 2, you shouldn't be able to compete for a championship. Look at the Packers. The Packers last year were one of the best teams in the league, and it looks like Aaron Rodgers ain't going to come back. The Buccaneers and the Rams right now, to me, are the 2 best teams in the NFC. If they can beat them, or at least one of them, and the other one just happens to lose, then there's no reason why they couldn't be in the Super Bowl. I mean, am I missing something? I feel like the Rams and the Bucs are the only teams like right now on paper that are definitively better across the board.
Matthew Stafford.
He's better than Jared Goff.
He is, but I'm not scared. I'm not scared of him.
I'm not saying you're scared of him, but Jared Goff did beat the Cowboys.
I'm scared of Aaron Rodgers because you know why. But that's about it.
You give him more. You give him more than 3 seconds, or even just more than a second, and he'll find a way.
You think he's with the? I mean, just for fun, you think he's with the Packers this year?
We
don't follow the Packers. I mean, I don't follow the Packers. I just see what's going on Twitter. But
I follow one of their beat writers, and it just. I'm gonna say no. He doesn't have to. He's got all the money saved up. He's got.
Does he retire and go host Jeopardy, or is he on another team? Is he playing football next year?
I'll say yes, but he'll have to buy out his own contract in order to be released. Which
he's looking like he's having a lot of fun on vacation with his new fiance.
Shailene.
Fiance doesn't he?
Yeah.
He could just host Jeopardy and hang out with her and be fine. I bet.
I mean, life's good for him right now. He didn't really need to play.
Okay. All right, Shane Carter, I appreciate you joining me, man. Tell them where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram, actually, if you want to, at Shane Carter TX. That's my first name spelled like that. TX, capital T, lowercase x. You might see my work also on Flow Sports every now and then they get that out. And I really do appreciate having me on, CC.
Yeah, you write too, don't you? Where do you write? Do you write still?
Inside the Star. I'm a contributor for Inside the Star. So that's where most of my Cowboy knowledge comes from, me and the talented staff over there.
Hey, as you and I know, it's either you're a Cowboys fan during the season, you don't sleep, or anything else. We're going to be doing this, once a week, and then once the season starts, post-game, after every Cowboys game. So I'll have you on after a couple of games. That's cool with you, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, Shane, I appreciate it. Go follow him on Twitter and make sure once he gets that hiatus back, you go check out his Dem Boys podcast. Shane, I appreciate it. We'll talk soon, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yep, cheers. Yeah, I appreciate Shane Carter there, man. Hey, he's a cool dude. This is our longest show. It's an hour and 15 minutes plus. I don't know how long you guys are sticking around, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. We talked about Michael Gallup, how you could keep him. We talked to Shane. We just Cowboys and cold ones. We're drinking beer. We're going to talk like we're in a sports bar. That's all we did. We'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, cheers.